Right now, as we speak, an AI chatbot is out there confidently fabricating an OSHA regulation number out of completely thin air.
Yeah, and some contractors probably unknowingly pasting it right into a legally binding compliance document.
Exactly. It's terrifying. Welcome to this Scaling Legends edition of the Deep Dive. We are stepping straight into the very real realities of March 19, 2026.
Right.
And for you, the construction business owner who is out there running crews, managing bids, and just fighting to keep your margins intact, we really need to start with a serious reality check today.
We do, because it's a wild landscape out there right now.
It really is, because while your back office is experimenting with artificial intelligence to try and save some time, there is this massive nationwide job slowdown triggered by recent immigration policies that is simultaneously just squeezing your physical labor pool dry.
It's just a really fascinating and honestly dangerous collision. I mean, you have this incredibly powerful yet highly unpredictable technological capability, and it is slamming headfirst into very real, very physical economic constraints.
Right. The real world hitting the digital world.
Exactly. The rules of how you build and, who you actually hire to build it, they're changing underneath your feet right now.
Which is exactly why our mission for this deep dive is to cut completely through that daily market noise. We are going to unpack the dual forces reshaping the construction industry right this second.
Yeah.
On one side, we've got the double-edged sword of unverified technology, and on the other, the tightening vice of labor shortages and skyrocketing material costs.
And to really understand where the industry is heading, we have to start with that technology piece. Specifically, there's this massive warning that Construction Dive just published.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, the reporting shows that 71% of engineering and construction firms, the E&C firms, they are currently piloting generative AI tools.
Wait, 71%?
That's 71%.
That is a staggering majority of the market. I mean, how are they actually applying it, though? Are we talking about just, writing basic emails, or are they using it for actual technical project management?
Well, they're using it across the board, honestly. And that is exactly where the critical failure point emerges.
Okay.
Because these chatbots, they are generating these beautifully formatted, highly authoritative sounding reports that are fundamentally based on flawed inferences.
Because of how the tech actually works, right?
Right. You have to remember the underlying mechanism of a large language model, an LLM. It is not a database of verified facts.
Right. It doesn't actually know anything.
Exactly. It's essentially just a prediction engine. It's designed to guess the next most mathematically plausible word in a sentence. It does not verify absolute truth.
So it's basically an advanced autocomplete that sounds incredibly confident, even when it's just completely wrong.
Precisely. And the hallucination rates, that's the industry term for when the AI just makes something up out of thin air.
Right.
Those rates range anywhere from 3% to 27%, depending entirely on the complexity of the domain.
Wow. Up to 27%.
Yeah. And when you feed an LLM construction-specific technical queries, like load-bearing calculations or regulatory codes, the hallucination rates sit at the absolute high end of that spectrum.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it's like hiring an overly enthusiastic apprentice who confidently hands you the wrong blueprints and just swears on his life that they're perfectly accurate.
That is the perfect analogy, honestly, because we are seeing documented instances of AI tools fabricating non-existent building code sections.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing entirely fake OSHA regulation numbers. I mean, it looks perfect on the page. The tone is totally authoritative, but the data is completely fictional.
That's wild.
And in infrastructure, you have to remember, an error doesn't just mean a typo in an internal memo.
Well,
it creates a physical and legal liability that outlives the project itself.
Right. I really want to pause on that legal liability aspect, because if a beam fails, or say a site gets shut down because a project manager relied on fake AI math, who actually pays for that?
Yeah.
Can a contractor just throw their hands up and say, hey, the software gave me bad data?
No. Absolutely not.
No.
We already have clear precedent in other industries showing us exactly how the courts are going to handle this. Look back to the famous 2023 Mata v. Avianca case.
Oh, right, the lawyer.
Yeah. A lawyer was heavily sanctioned by a federal judge for citing 6 fake legal cases that were entirely generated by ChatGPT.
Just made up out of nowhere.
Exactly. And more recently, Air Canada was held legally liable for financial misinformation that their customer service chatbot provided to a passenger.
Wow.
So the courts have drawn a hard line here. If it is your tool and you deployed it into your workflow, you own the liability for its output, period.
So for a construction owner, a specific AI liability case isn't just like a hypothetical anymore.
Not at all. Legal experts are stating it is absolutely a matter of when, not if.
Yikes.
And the insurance sector, they're not waiting around to find out either. Professional liability insurers are already moving to add AI-related exclusions to errors and emissions policies, those E&O policies, for architects and engineers.
Wait, really?
Yes. So, if you rely on an unverified AI output and it results in a structural failure, your insurance carrier might simply point to that exclusion and refuse to cover the damages. You are completely on the hook.
Hold on. That creates a massive paradox then. If the failure rate of these tools is pushing 27% and insurance companies are actively dropping coverage for AI-related errors, why in the world is 71% of the industry still piloting it? I mean, that sounds like the industry has a collective death wish.
Well, it looks that way on the surface, sure. But the nature of the investment is actually shifting very rapidly right now.
Okay, how so?
Smart contractors aren't abandoning technology, but they are realizing that raw open source AI is just far too dangerous for compliance. So they are moving aggressively toward verified industry-specific solutions. According to Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report, search patterns for construction management software have experienced a 431% growth, rising for the 9th consecutive day.
431% growth in 9 days.
Yep.
That isn't a gradual adoption curve. I mean, that is a massive sudden scramble.
It's panic.
Yeah, let me look at the breakdown of these breakout signals here because this is wild. Searches for top construction management software are up 350%. Best construction management software is up 200%.
Right.
Searches specifically for Procore are up 90%. But here is what really jumps out to me. Construction safety management software searches are up 450%, and that's for the 8th sustained day.
Yeah, that's huge.
And as a brand new signal, subcontractor accounting software just spiked 200%.
So when you look at those specific categories, what stands out to you about what these companies are actually trying to solve right now?
Well, I mean, they aren't searching for flashy 3D modeling or design tech. They are desperately searching for safety and accounting software.
Exactly.
To me, it tells me they are trying to automate their back office liability because they literally cannot find or hire enough safety managers and accountants to actually do the work.
You hit the nail on the head. And the major corporate players, they're watching these exact same signals and maneuvering to capture that panic.
Making moves.
Oh yeah. For instance, ECI Software Solutions just appointed Bob Kane as their new industry president for residential home construction.
Okay.
That is a major contact company actively reorganizing their executive leadership to capture this specific demand for verified tech in the residential sector.
Are we seeing this shift globally, or is this really just a North American tech scramble?
It is absolutely global.
So, correct.
Over in the UK, SuperSeed just launched a £50 million Fund 3. But they aren't funding just any tech. This fund is specifically dedicated to physical AI startups, and it's backed directly by the British Business Bank.
Wait, physical AI, what does that mean?
Physical AI refers to robotics, drones, and automated machinery that can interact safely and predictably with the real physical world.
Ah, okay.
So the capital pipeline is moving away from chatbots that just write text and moving toward verified automation that can safely swing a hammer or survey a site.
Okay, but I really have to ask, is a 431% spike in software searches really just about avoiding AI hallucinations? Because to me, that kind of volume screams that there is a much deeper operational panic happening on the ground.
You are sensing that correctly. The rush for automation isn't just about technological safety. It is a direct reactive response to a massive squeeze happening in the human workforce right now.
The labor shortage.
Exactly. The industry is desperately trying to replace human capacity that simply no longer exists.
Well, let's pull back the curtain on the labor data then, because the recent JOLT report paints a very strange picture.
It really does.
It showed that job openings were actually rising in January across the broader national economy. But then construction specifically lost 92,000 jobs in February. Where did all those workers go?
We have to look at the macro policy level to really understand the mechanism here. As an impartial observer of the economic data, it's clear that recent policy shifts are radically tightening the labor supply. MSN and Reuters are extensively reporting that a recent immigration crackdown is now triggering a sharp nationwide job slowdown. And this is extending well beyond just the construction sector. It's dragging down the broader economy's physical labor force.
So the labor pool is essentially being artificially capped by federal policy.
Yes.
And from what I understand, this isn't just a uniquely American hurdle right now either.
Not at all. We are seeing almost the exact same mechanism play out in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the British Columbia Premier is currently opposing the federal expansion of the Temporary Foreign Worker Program.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if you understand how contractors operate, you know they heavily rely on these temporary programs to fill critical gaps during peak building seasons.
Sure. They need those crews.
So when leadership opposes or restricts that expansion, Canadian construction firms face an artificial tightening of their labor pool. The bids are there, the projects are totally funded, but the physical workers simply aren't legally available to meet the demand.
Man, that is tough. Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report tracks labor market data daily and flags when your local market is tightening from these exact pressures.
Yeah.
And you really need that localized visibility, because a federal immigration policy is going to hit a contractor in Texas very differently than it hits a contractor in Ohio.
That is a crucial point. Local visibility is quite literally survival right now. And to make matters infinitely more complex for the business owner, this squeeze is not isolated to the labor side of the ledger.
Of course not.
It is simultaneously hitting the physical materials. The Economic Times just published a comprehensive report confirming that recent tariffs, which, impartially speaking, were originally implemented with the intention of helping domestic manufacturers.
Right.
Those tariffs are instead resulting in widespread increased costs and actually reduced workforces.
Walk me through the actual mechanics of that. If a tariff is supposed to protect a domestic steel or lumber manufacturer, how does it end up reducing workforces?
It all comes down to supply chain economics. A tariff raises the floor price of imported materials, right?
Right.
Well, when the imported price goes up, domestic suppliers naturally raise their prices to match that new, higher baseline.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the cost to build a commercial structure skyrockets.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and because the materials are so expensive, developers just pause or completely cancel projects. When volume drops that significantly, the manufacturers and the contractors both have to start laying off workers just to stay solvent.
Yeah.
They are feeling this pain across manufacturing, steel, and construction simultaneously.
So it's just a vicious cycle.
Exactly. For example, the BC Canada Forest Minister is actively seeking tariff diversification paths for the softwood lumber industry right now. They are scrambling to find new markets and avoid these exact pressures that are reshaping and restricting the North American supply chain.
It's like trying to pour a foundation while someone is simultaneously shrinking your crew size and hiking the price of the concrete. The math simply stops working. I mean, if you're a mid-sized contractor relying on tight margins for commercial strip malls or residential developments, this sounds like total gridlock. So where are construction businesses actually finding growth? Because money is still moving in this economy somewhere.
Money is absolutely moving, but it is migrating very rapidly to safe harbors.
Okay, where?
The stability and really the massive flow of capital is pivoting directly into heavily funded, state-backed mega projects. Infrastructure, clean energy, and public water systems are where the guaranteed money is flowing right now.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I actually saw the breaking news out of Kentucky. Governor Beshear just officially announced that the Brent Spence Bridge companion bridge will finally begin construction this spring.
That's a massive one.
It is. We are talking about a $3.6 billion project, and it's secured by $1.6 billion in federal funds. Plus, it's bringing guaranteed construction jobs at $30 an hour.
Exactly.
When private commercial work dries up, you become a subcontractor on a state behemoth.
Precisely. And we are seeing these protected pipelines open up in the energy sector as well.
Like what?
Well, Sunracer is officially beginning construction on the Lupin C projects, as well as the Eagle Springs solar plus storage facilities down in Texas.
Nice.
And in the Pacific, the Hawaii Consolidated Water Project, which is a massive $204 million desalination plant that is now completely confirmed for a Q2 2026 start.
The scale of these projects is just incredible. And it seems like they're forcing a lot of innovation too, right? Like Tata Steel UK is launching a circular economy initiative specifically focused on using recycled steel for the construction sector, which I imagine is likely to offset those exact material cost spikes we were just talking about.
Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report project tracking flags new mega project announcements by region, helping businesses spot these opportunities early.
Right.
Because getting your foot in the door on these massive state or federal projects is the primary survival strategy against the labor and material squeeze.
Makes sense.
But as with any government-funded pipeline, there is a significant catch.
I knew it. When the government is writing a $1.6 billion check, There are always strings attached. What is the catch?
The catch is a rapidly shifting landscape of red tape and compliance. Accessing these funds requires navigating rules that are constantly changing midstream.
Give me an example.
For instance, Finance Commerce is currently reporting that the disadvantaged business enterprise minority contractor rollback is continuing to expand.
Okay, explain how that actually impacts a contractor on the ground.
Well, prime contractors utilize DBE programs to meet specific diversity quotas required to win state and federal bids.
Right.
But because the legal definitions and affirmative action parameters of who qualifies as a minority contractor are currently being contested and rolled back in courts right now.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Prime contractors are absolutely terrified of falling out of compliance. Consequently, this rollback is actively limiting minority contractor access to these massive infrastructure projects because the primes are freezing their subcontracts to avoid any regulatory risk.
Wow. So you could have the crew and the expertise totally ready to go, but get locked out just because the legal department is paralyzed by red tape.
Exactly. And at a state level, the policy environment is incredibly volatile too. In Florida, the 2026 legislative session just ended, and several major bills impacting construction regulations and compliance completely died on the floor.
Just dead.
Yep. This leaves businesses operating in total regulatory limbo, unsure of what the building standards will legally require even 6 months from now.
And I imagine regulatory agencies aren't giving out any free passes while the industry figures this all out.
Oh, far from it. OSHA HAZCOM, or Hazard Communication Violation Data, continues to show the construction sector as the absolute top offending industry for failing to adequately warn workers about chemical dangers on site.
Wow, number one.
Yes. The enforcement spotlight is glaring right on this industry, which means the fines are heavy and they are unforgiving.
Okay, so to synthesize this whole deep dive, you have to use tech to survive, but the tech might hallucinate and get you sued.
Yeah.
You need labor, but federal policies are capping the worker pool. You pivot to government mega projects to find revenue, but then you hit a wall of changing compliance laws and OSHA crackdowns.
It's a lot.
It sounds totally impossible. But the reality is, businesses are still out there thriving.
They absolutely are, provided they navigate this environment strategically.
Right. Look at Forge Construction. Despite all of these headwinds we just talked about, they just moved out of the West Bottoms and spent $2.9 million outfitting a brand new office in the crossroads of Kansas City, adding 20 new employees to their roster.
That is a phenomenal regional growth signal. It proves that local adaptation actually works.
And we see it in the public markets too. Construction Partners, trading under the ticker ROAD on the NASDAQ, they just saw their Q4 stock review fundamentally beat revenue forecasts for construction and maintenance services.
Really?
Yeah, and they achieved that despite broader market declines.
Well, it proves that the demand for physical building has not disappeared. The roads, the bridges, the solar farms, they all still need to be built.
Exactly.
The companies that are succeeding right now aren't doing it by ignoring the economic headwinds or blindly trusting raw AI. They are succeeding by rigorously adapting their operational models to fit a new, highly constrained reality.
Let's bring this all together. For you, the construction business owner listening right now, navigating today's market requires a very specific playbook.
Absolutely.
First, you absolutely must verify your tech stack. You cannot afford the liability of an AI hallucination that your insurance won't even cover. Second, you need to leverage targeted, verified software to offset a tightening labor pool and rising material costs. And finally, if your commercial pipelines are drying up, you need to pivot your focus toward the infrastructure and clean energy mega projects, because that is where the capital is safely flowing.
And as you adapt that playbook, it really raises a vital question for anyone leading a firm today.
What's that?
If an AI hallucination in infrastructure creates a physical and legal liability that outlives the project itself, will the competitive advantage of the future really belong to the contractor who builds the fastest? Or will it belong to the contractor with the most rigorous data verification?
Man, that is exactly the question you need to be asking yourself and your leadership team as you look at your own operations this week. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you want to stay ahead of these massive industry shifts, please make sure you subscribe, rate, and review the show on whatever platform you are using right now.
Yes, please do.
And I have a very specific challenge for you today. Share this deep dive with at least one contractor you know who is currently using raw AI tools without proper verification. They urgently need to hear that warning about liability.
Definitely.
Finally, if you are looking to scale your business and capture these mega projects without drowning in all the regulatory red tape we've been discussing, you need to visit smartbusinessautomator.com. The platform is engineered specifically to tackle these exact operational panics. It prevents administrative overload by automatically tagging your site photos and plans.
Which is huge.
Yeah, it summarizes those massive daily logs so you don't have to. It can even draft your RFI responses utilizing your own verified historical context, not internet hallucinations.
Right, verified data.
Furthermore, it detects schedule risks before they blow up, tracks budget variances in real time, and checks your compliance directly against project specs via API integrations. It is built so your project managers can actually scale their operations without getting buried in the administrative squeeze. Again, to protect your margins and verify your data, visit smartbusinessautomator.com. Stay safe out on the site, verify your data, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.